Alright, Leo, let's get into your collective reading here. This is going to be a collective reading for any and all Leo placements. So if you are aware of your birth chart and all that stuff, this reading could be for you. But also, if you don't know your birth chart and all that stuff, you don't have to know it. Just use discernment if you know the placements and all of the fancy little things. If you are not a Leo and you don't know the birth chart thing, but you just want a little, like, I don't know, you just want to hear some words, it's okay to relate to people and situations they're going through. Just, again, please have discernment over what's going on in your own life. We all have different things that we can relate to each other in different ways, but that does not mean everyone's solution is the same. There's a certain flavor in that creamer that I just don't like. But I want the coffee. I'm probably just gonna chug my coffee at some point. No. If we're gonna play like that, I may as well. Okay. These cards are definitely meant to be out here. I'm just like, hey, if you wanted to bring out more cards, you should have said so. Last card. We're going to be using a different deck to clarify these three cards that, if I can get the last one. There we go. Oh my goodness gracious. Two cards came out, actually. Leo, did you know that your major arcana in the tarot deck is... Oh. That person's not even nude. It's just like a mannequin. There's like nothing on them. So Twitch, the person's a mannequin. It's a mannequin. There's nothing there. There's literally just nothing there on their chest. Don't worry about it. Anyway, this is the Leo card in tarot, and the major arcana of tarot. Leo is the strength card. And the sun card as well. There's a couple different cards that associate it with it. Ten of Swords reversed came out underneath the strength and was almost trying to hide, but on the bottom of the deck we have the Nine of Swords. So we have the Ten of Swords and the Nine of Swords, both coming out reversed, which feels very like, I know what's going on in my own mind. I don't know how to handle it, but at least I'm aware of it. Oh my god, I thought there was two cards stuck together there. We have the Hermit reversed, the Death card, and Strength. I feel almost as if your strength comes from dedicated discipline towards transformation. When you are dedicated towards really getting like a project moving, the ball rolling on something. It doesn't have to be like a big project. It's just like a task. Like either a task at home, a task at your job. Like, it feels like not just like an activity that's fun, but it's work that you do so you can go and have fun in your life, kind of a thing. I don't know necessarily how to explain it other than it's work that you do that also provides a sense of like, not even sense, but you can have some leisure and like play in your life. I think even the more that you see that there's an energy of like the harder you work, the more time you will have to relax, and I feel like that is partially true. And it also just really depends on how you look at it. I think there are so many things that get us caught up in not really believing in our own selves that I think really mess with like how we see our own growth, because there's almost like a confused nature to how you see your own growth, how you see yourself in the future. It's almost like you can see yourself in the future, but you can't even imagine the person like becoming that person right now, because it just, you don't even know what kind of person you would be if you had the life you want to live, kind of a thing. Um, the the aspects of this can play out in so many different scenarios. That's why it's like really interconnected and complex and complicated for me to like even try and talk about here, because this whole thing that I'm talking about has been such a inner journey for you that I don't even think you could explain it to anyone but probably yourself. And I think that's even probably, I hate to say, is the best case scenario for this type of situation, but I can understand not wanting to be alone in this process. And I want you to remind yourself that you are never alone as long as you have yourself, because there is a part of you that is guiding you this whole time. There is so much of you that has been led by yourself. Like, you go out into the world, you do things, you work hard, you come home, but could be somewhat the same old thing every now and then, but you still do different things like on different weeks and on the weekends and stuff. But there's there's an area of even wanting more, knowing there's more, but also like being afraid, because I feel like the hermit feels like they can only handle the mountain that they've climbed yesterday. They can only tackle the hiking route that they tackled yesterday. They can't handle a new route that's unknown. And it's like the universe is constantly putting you on a new route on this hermit journey. The hermit is someone who metaphorically goes to this mountain of introspection, which is like the mountain of your mind, and all these confusing, dark things, and even tough to like climb and even understand, because you're trying to climb a central mountain in the dark with only but a lantern in your hand. Um, and that lantern, I want you to know, is the light of your own soul. This is going to help you find that like core you, because it's still a part of you. It's almost like this light is like pulling itself towards you, and you know that it's the only thing that can let you see in the dark of your mind, this light about you. So the more that you travel on these unknown paths, the more you're actually taking these giant steps forward in so much healing. And I think we take healing in this kind of scenario with a grain of salt, because we don't really see it as healing. We see it as persevering through pain. But at the same time, there's a part in that is like strengthening a muscle. And in that is essentially healing something. Because sometimes when it comes to like certain injuries and physical therapy, like you have to do like certain types of like weight training to at least train the muscle to build itself back up again. It's probably very light weight training, but it's definitely like that building up of the muscle is a healing process. That is a healing process. It's almost like seeing a cracked foundation and seeing that, oh no, this foundation's still salvageable. We just need to fill in the cracks, and it'll be as strong as new again, kind of a thing. Like nothing underneath the foundation has cracked. It's like maybe some random crazy chaotic set of events, like a giant boulder fell on it and there's a giant crack, and you're like, oh well, this is still salvageable, we just gotta like cut out this piece that is all rubble and then just make a new corner of the foundation. It's not creating a whole new foundation, it's almost seeing that you are strong, but only healing and strengthening the parts that, oh no, this part is kind of not necessarily weak, but it like got hurt, it needs to be bandaged up, it needs to be healed, not fixed. I don't want you to think you have to fix yourself. It's literally imagining, hey, we're putting a band-aid on it, or we're literally taking medicine and going to sleep, because that's what you do when you're sick and you're injured. You rest. You take your time. And even when you're done resting, when you're sick, it's good to actually get up, get your body moving, take a small walk, even if it's a nice day outside, and just like have these like muscle training kind of a things. There's something about like strength training, but not just muscles of your body, the muscles of your mind, because your whole brain is essentially a muscle. We are going to move on to the Hermit. What is the Hermit trying to tell Leo here? Hello. We have 7 of Cups, 2 of Pentacles that came out kind of sideways, and 8 of Wands. So you have a lot to choose and even to offer, I think, in life. It's funny because the 2 of Pentacles says challenge on it. I think the real challenge is finding the balance between what choices are going to get you which of those feel-good moments. And this is the choices we make when it comes to the healing, comes to the strength training. How can you train your body and your mind to handle a lot of, I think, what you're now becoming aware of is triggers. There's a lot of, like, options, but it's all in this area of healing, which gives me this idea of, like, you are having options to deal with triggers and heal, like, during those triggering moments. But it's also, like, understanding, and even partially, I think some of you are understanding that the reason it is a challenge is because at the end of the day, little by little, you start feeling more and more like yourself again. There's 8 of Wands, Hearthfire. It gives me this, yes, there's a bunch of these people around, and, like, they're kind of enjoying their time together, but it gives me the sense of there's all these ideas and potentials and even, like, pathways, but not even pathways of your own soul. All different parts of you, even educating yourself and just praising yourself over the healing that has been done and that you currently are doing. Past, present, and future selves. Past live selves, if you believe in that. There's an energy of understanding that the 8 Wands, I normally see it as like rushing ideas, but this tarot deck's very different. But when this comes in, it gives me such, like, for you Leos, it gives me a sense of really accumulating all the ideas you had as a child, teen, young adult, whatever age, all ages ever that you have been in this moment in time, like accumulating all of, not necessarily the ideas, but like the daydreams and aspirations, I want to say. The aspect of choice in this when it comes to 7 of Cups is you don't want to choose something that's going to be more work in the end and in the long run than you expect. It's like, oh, I want to make sure that when I make this decision, it's not going to hurt me in the long run. And I think that's a big thing when it comes with, hey, how are you choosing to talk to yourself? Because how you choose to talk to yourself really determines how you feel about yourself in the long run. So there's a big message to that. And I think with the Death card, this is where we're going to talk about transformation. There is a death to a sense of self, but I feel like the fear around this death is some people feel like, well, what about like the old me? I don't want to lose parts of the old me. Who said you were gonna lose them? Did you say that? Are you gonna leave them behind? And it's like, I feel Leo's kind of being like, well, no, I kind of want to bring them with me into the future. Like, these aren't that bad of things. They're like inner child things, younger passions of ours. I just want to play with Legos on a rainy Sunday afternoon with some, like, good grub and a 6-pack of beer or some shit. But, I feel like there's an acceptance needing to happen. You need to accept that you can bring these things with you into the future. And I think what is hurting is that there is a lot of healing needing to be done around the aspect of what made you feel like you can't have these things as an adult. Because it's your life, and you're an adult now. Because I should be talking to mostly adults here. If you're not an adult, take this with a grain of salt. But the aspect of being adults always gets lost in, oh, well, I'm an adult, you know, I shouldn't go around being a child and wasting my time. But at the same time, like, you can still make time for it. Like, that's the whole, like, freedom of being an adult, is you gotta fucking work your ass off to pay the bills, do all this shit, and just do general things of, like, cleaning the house, cleaning laundry, taking care of any other, like, animals or children people may have. And there is a... Sorry. Someone in the chat, for context for the YouTube video, they just said, I am here as a physical adult. Thank you. There's an aspect of understanding that, like, there is no problem and no law against saying that adults can't play with Legos. Like you... 40-year-old adults can't play with Legos on a Sunday afternoon while it's thunderstorming with a 6-pack and their favorite fast food with their favorite movie playing in the background. Show me a law that says that. Listen, even if they're fucking... No, I can't say that because I don't condone breaking the law. Fucking... TOS, gotta be TOS friendly here. Anyway, I think there's a lot of healing and questions needing to be asked for yourself around why can't you truly feel like you can take these inner younger versions of you, like these passion activities, these little like passion projects or small activities, why can't you take them with you into the future? This is like the hardest part, I think, for any one of us as a human being to understand, like, what is stopping us. It feels so hard, but I think we all know what the answer is. It's so hard to just face it. It's so hard to just face it until you creep up to it and it's boom. Right up in your face. This is 9 of Wands, respect. And it says respect on here because the story behind this card is that you're like creeping through the woods and you accidentally come across this person's little like spot and they are like come up at you like aggressive, and it's almost kind of gauging on what your reaction would be to that person, like really like aggressively coming up on you and then being like, okay, no, you're cool. And some people would understand that they're just trying to protect their little spot, because who knows what's out in these woods. There's like bears and shit, bears and mountain lions in them, so he's just trying to be on guard. Some people may take that as in like, yo, what the fuck, why are you trying to hurt me, kind of a thing. And this is one of those, you gotta ask yourself which one you are. How are you asking yourself, or how are you asking yourself these questions, and how are you feeling after these questions? I think this is a big conversation with the self. You have to start asking the hard questions towards yourself because it's going to help you and heal you. But I understand the time that it takes to possibly even come up with an answer. I think the thing that stops most of us is the time. Like, we have to take time to let the answer come to us. 9 of Wands, 10 of Cups, and the 5 of Swords, clarifying the Death card. The Death card, I want you to see as the acceptance card. This is all a path of acceptance and transformation. And 5 of Swords gives me this energy of, well, while it is frustration, it says, there's a sense of endurance in this frustration. You understand where the goal is, where the flow lies, where things flow best. I think the frustration is how consistent you need to be in this. Not consistent, but like how you're not going to pick up a bow and arrow on your first day and actually shoot this ram down on your first try. That may happen in a 1 in a million chance, but it's probably a high chance not gonna happen. I'm not saying you can't kill this thing on your first day of getting a bow. It's like, let's say you're trying to hunt for food. I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm just saying it's not going to be with the first shot that you take. It's not even going to be with the second, third, or even fourth. But that 5th one, you feel the wind moving, you line it just right. And maybe, just maybe, you gotta put yourself out there. There's so much in this that, like, you gotta keep shooting that shot of yours, in that dream, that passion, that first, like, ideal goal of your life that you have. Even though you know that, like, it's okay if it's not, like, that exact goal, you just have something in mind, you can get it. And I want you to keep trying to pull back that bow and find any arrow you can that is sturdy enough, strong enough, and solid enough to make a clear enough shot, and just try. Because honestly, who knows when you'll hit your target? Because if you keep trying to shoot at a target, eventually one of the arrows is going to hit. So I think the eventually one of those is going to hit scenario is a lot sooner than you think. And I think this is where you really have to start being honest with yourself, asking the hard questions, because this feels very like you are preparing for a big, not necessarily like career, but it feels almost like the rest of your life kind of decision. But it's like this is Leo telling themselves this. I want to make sure that I'm making the right decisions now, because if I work at this consistently for years and years and years, this is going to be the rest of my life. Like, there's an idea of like working at this is going to be either the rest of your life or part of you for the rest of your life. And it's something that is like, let's say you want to get into crocheting. Just fucking random example. You want to get into crocheting, and you want to make sure that you really want to get into crocheting, because you want to buy all the supplies, but you don't want to buy all the supplies, spend all this money, work all this stuff, and then you don't like crocheting anymore. I think that just getting started with, let's say, if we're gonna go on the example of crocheting, they literally make like packs that you can crochet like specific like plushy kind of things. I've seen it with like Minecraft. Like, they had all of the string that they needed in this little like kit, and it was like a crochet kit kind of a thing, and you made some little Minecraft character that turned into like a plushie. And if you want to get into crocheting, you can start with those, because at that point you will have the tools you need and you won't have any excess that is like, you know, wasting space in random storage parts of your home or your space. I think there's an idea of like it's okay to really want to get like started and have a good idea of how to get started, but just getting started I think has been the key to all of this. But you feel like you can't bring these silly playful aspects into the future with you when you can. Like nothing stops us from literally like playing like little kids when we're adults. We are allowed to do that. And honest to God, I'm going to teach my kids that every single day. In the sense of you got to keep not only hope alive, but that like sense of imagination and like playfulness alive. This is so like fruitful to the soul, fruitful and healing to the soul. Like I feel like no one really understands until they actually let themselves accept the true feeling of like, I actually hung out with my inner child for once. I hung out with an inner version of my younger self for once, and this was fucking dope. This was sick as hell. This was so cool. I loved every second of this. You are allowed to love every second of it. Let yourself love every second of it, because that's the point. That is the magic of life, in my opinion, is actually choosing to let yourself enjoy these little things in life. You need to. You have to, and you must, because there's nothing else stopping you. So what do you have to lose if nothing's stopping you? I think that's the big question here. What do you have left to lose? Someone's saying their own sense of self. Well, honey, I hate to tell you, your own sense of self is that playful sense of self. Is that we're dancing around all these, this giant fire with this fancy music playing and all these fancy snacks, and it's like, you know that as a kid, when you were a kid, all that stuff was free. When you were a kid, you didn't have to pay for any of that. You didn't have to set it up at all, but now as an adult, you gotta pay for all that. You gotta set it up, you gotta start the fire, but you can still dance around that fire and eat all those snacks and just fucking, I'm gonna feast. Tonight. I don't care how much I'm eating, kind of a thing. Obviously, be careful. You know, don't make yourself sick. But there's an energy of you can still bring this energy in. It takes a little extra work, but honestly, in my fun opinion, it's somewhat fun to set up activities for your inner child to go and play. I see it as around the holiday times, this is usually an easy example, like Santa Claus. There's some people who go like really over the top and like want to like make the magic of Santa and like Christmas and all that stuff to where they will put, I think, like fake snow or like, I don't know, like flour on their boots and pretend that like they made like Santa's like footprints in the house leading to the tree and stuff. And of course all of the parents eating all the cookies each night. I mean, Santa ate those cookies. I don't know what I'm talking about. Keeping that magic alive is still really fun because there's still a sense of having a spark in your life of playing pretend. I think when we acknowledge that, yes, we are playing pretend to just have fun, that is where I think a lot of delusion, like, goes to the wayside, because a lot of people, I think, mix up, you know, inner child healing and inner child activities with, I'm just gonna go be a reckless child and not care about anything. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how you really just need to accept that it's fun to live your life and imagine and daydream and play pretend. Like, shit like that is fun. Why do you think adults play D&D? Why do you think so many of us are nerds? And why do you think we all love anime in some form? Any person will tell you that there is something of their childhood that they hold deep and dear to their soul. I'm gonna say the biggest example for a lot of males out there, how do you feel about Batman? How do you feel about Deadpool? Ryan Reynolds, even. That's a little less inner child and more inner young adult, but we can still have fun. I'm only 25. I'm still what I would consider an adult baby. Um, I still have a lot of life to live, but you could be a lot older than me and be thinking about when you're my age, kind of a thing, and all the fun you had and just silly times you had then. You can still have that fun and just pretend and just. Honestly, it's really all about having fun, like genuinely. That is the key to all of this healing. Clarifying the Strength card here, which is your card, Leo. Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and the Star card. You have a lot of cards about perseverance, but also the strength that you have. Like, it's like the calm right before the storm. And I feel like everyone knows the strength that a bear has, but sometimes when you just see it, like when you just see a bear, even like it's just like standing on four legs, it kind of looks at you, but then you see it stand up on two legs and you're just like, oh, that thing's big and scary, but it's cool. It could either be really scary or really cool, depending on what scenario you're in. I hope you're in the cool one. Let's all be safe out there, please. And I think this is where your essence of, I feel strong in this when I stand my ground on, let's play pretend, let's have fun. I feel strong in this scenario, in this activity of having fun. And that's where the strength in just moving into this acceptance and this healing just kind of like, it's almost like something that is like a feather that gets like shot up into the sky, super high in the sky, almost to the stratosphere, but then it's just like softly flowing down. There's no like crazy wind that's like taking it and like blowing it around. It's almost like all the wind blew it up high in the sky, and then now it's just a stroll. It's just a little walk in the park. But this walk in the park is a little different. This walk in the park is a walk at night. And it's a walk into your confusing, unknown parts of your mind. And I think part of you is finding a lot of love in this process. Seeing that, you know what, it is kind of fun setting up a blanket fort and playing, like, this is something I would want to do. Setting up a blanket fort, and we have like a mattress cover we don't use, so like it's nice to just like lay it down on the floor if we want to sit on the floor and do stuff. But we set up like a blanket fort above the mattress cover, and we just play Magic the Gathering all night, kind of a thing. That's it. Do I need to say more? What's the phrase? You know what I'm trying to say? I can't say it. Do I need to explain myself more? Human adults play D&D and dress up at Renaissance fairs. What more do I need to tell you in order to live your own childhood? You're allowed. You're allowed. And if you are around anyone who's going to think otherwise, you don't need to be around them when you are having your own fun. You can still choose to communicate and be friends with people who aren't into all the same things you're into, but if you want to go enjoy something, I feel like you should just go and enjoy it. And if someone's going to say any mean shit towards you, then I guess you kind of know how to deal with them already, because you're a Leo. And you got that Leo energy. You're just going to look at them sideways. I know. You don't need me to tell you twice. So, don't let me or anyone tell you twice about how to live out your daydreams or your pretend playful imagination. Because that is for you and you to decide only. And I think it's literally just like getting out there and just like playing. Like if you want to just get a random board game and like just play a random board game with a couple of friends for a night. Like the aspect of play is very like key to here in this reading. And I think this is where I'm going to stop and I'm going to do the fucking Nickelodeon thing where they are like, they wouldn't play any shows at all for a whole day because it was supposed to be the day of play, and there would be no SpongeBob, and they would basically be like, "Hey, are you outside playing right now? No? Okay. Well, back to this essential commercial break that was just their little picture with moving parts saying, "Go get outside and play. It's the day of play." And that's the day for you. Today, tomorrow, I think every day for the rest of your life. I think you know exactly how to choose wisely. So let yourself choose wisely. Trust. Allow yourself to allow yourself, and allow yourself to accept yourself. That is all I have for you, Leo. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed those cards in the reading. We are not ending on Twitch just yet, but for anyone who is going to be watching on YouTube in the future times, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.